This is Margaret Lee, Special People and Places, and I am at the Bankhead House and Heritage Center today. And this is the beginning of the Jewish stores in Jasper, their tribute to them, and it has been just received beautifully. And I'm here with Mr. Jerry Newmark.
And this is my daughter Ginger Deason and her husband Ted Deason.
How you doing?
They're from Birmingham, and they're out here to see this wonderful exhibit.
Oh.
We appreciate it so much. It's just wonderful. And the reception has been great. I couldn't ask for anything better. I'm just thrilled beyond words.
And your father came to Jasper what year, Jerry?
My father and mother came to Jasper in 1914 and opened a business down on 19th Street, and we've been here ever since.
All right. And what year did you close your store?
In 1987, we went out of business. My wife and I went out of business in 1987.
So you just retired then, no?
Yes, I'm retired.
Okay.
I'm old enough to retire.
People wouldn't believe your age. I happen to know. But would you reveal your age?
92.
You are incredible, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Oh, I know you're so proud.
I am.
Do you still have your mom?
No,
Oh.
Mother passed away about 2 years ago.
Oh, well, people will be interested in that. We're so sorry, Jerry.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Oh, my. Well, Jerry, since you're only 92, are you going to come back to Jasper maybe and reopen?
Not very likely.
Well,
Not very. Thank
people
you.
would be so happy to see you.
Thank you for the
and
compliment.
everybody would love seeing you do it. Oh, my.
I was in the first draft in Walker County in October of 1940. You had to be 21, and I had just turned 21. I was at the University of Alabama, and they allowed me. The draft board allowed me to graduate in May. In August of 1941, I was drafted into the Army. John Prim, John David Bailey, and Paul Russell and I rode the bus, Miss Alabus, from Jasper to Anniston, Alabama, and where they told us that we could either go into the infantry or we could enlist for 3 years in the United States Army Air Corps. There was no separate Air Force then. We decided that the Air Corps was better than the infantry, so we enlisted for 3 years in the United States Army Air Corps. And they sent us to Selma, Alabama. And from Selma, I was stationed there a few months, and the war broke out while I was there. And then they shipped me to Columbus, Mississippi to teach link trainer. I stayed there a few months, and the Army decided to send me to West Virginia for training in the Corps of Engineers. Don't ask me how I got from the Air Corps to the Corps of Engineers, but that's what the Army did. I stayed in this country until 1944. We shipped out and went overseas to New Guinea from San Francisco in 1944, and we participated in 2 operations, the New Guinea operation and the Luzon operation. We went from New Guinea to Luzon, and that's where we were there when the war ended. At the war's end, there was a point system to come home. If we didn't have enough points, you had to go in the Army of Occupation to Japan. If you had enough points, you could come home. And they told me what a wonderful soldier I was and how great I was and how badly they needed me in Japan. And I told them Jasper, Alabama looked so good I just couldn't turn it down. And I caught the next ship from Manila back to Jasper, Alabama, and I was discharged in December of 1945.
Now, Jerry, tell us about your medals here.
Well, this is Asia Pacific ribbon, and those two stars on there are my participation in Luzon and New Guinea, and that's what those two stars are for. This was given to me by the Philippine government, and there's supposed to be a medal with it. I don't know what happened to them. They didn't get the medal. All I got was a ribbon. And these are also ribbons. That's a good conduct medal, as most soldiers got if they served with honor. And these are other ribbons concerning operations in the Pacific.
I remember hearing you say something about when you were sent to the South Pacific. That was a surprise. When you were training in West Virginia, when they sent you in the mountains of West Virginia, didn't you think you were going to the Europe?
I thought we were going to Europe because
the Alps.
It's cold in the wintertime up there. And the next thing I know, I'm on the way to the South Pacific.
So instead of going to the Alps, you went to the jungle.
Yes, I did.
And there was something about the ship you were on.
Oh, well, the ship was a converted freighter. It was not a troop ship. And the hold of the ship was where they put tanks and guns and big equipment. But for us, they strung rope and made rope bunks. And they were like 6 and 7 high. And if your bunk was 6, you had to climb up to get in that bunk. And if you were down in 1 or 2 and the guy in 6 got sick, you were the beneficiary of that. And I learned to sleep on the deck of a ship as a result of that experience.
You didn't want anyone else to throw up on you.
No. And that's essentially what happened.
Do you have any memorable stories from your military days in the South Pacific?
Oh, yes. After we'd been there a few weeks, we were set up on a beach.
What island was that?
It was in New Guinea. And I watched the natives spearfish. And they would get in the water about waist deep and wade through and watch the surf coming in. And every once in a while, they'd throw a spear and catch a fish. And that's how they fished. I watched that for several days. And I said, shoot, I believe I can do that. So I traded a little trinket that I had with a native for a spear, and I got in the water myself about waist deep and started walking down the beach thinking, well, I'll spear a fish. And I looked and looked and looked and looked, and nothing happened. So finally I said, oh, I believe I see a fish. I threw the spear, and I guess I threw it incorrectly because it hit in the sand and broke. And that was the end of my spearfishing trip.
You gave up that easy, Jerry. I can't believe that.
Yeah.
So they had a knack for fishing like that.
Oh, that's how they lived, yeah. On the way home for Thanksgiving dinner, I was on a converted freighter again.
Again?
Yeah, I didn't get the luxury stuff. And we had a terrible storm. And the stove that they cooked for us was up on the deck. And the storm was so bad, they couldn't cook. So my Thanksgiving dinner in 1945 was dehydrated beets soaked. They soaked them in water, and that's what they gave us for lunch for that day. Now, the next day the storm calmed down, and we did get a Thanksgiving dinner the next day. But that day was beets or nothing. And since then, I haven't eaten beets.
Jerry, I know you don't mind people knowing that you are now 94 years old, and you have not eaten beets in all these years.
No.
What about Thanksgiving dinner the day after Thanksgiving in 19?
An excellent meal they were able to cook.
Even turkey?
I don't remember what we had.
But it was good.
It was a good meal. Yeah, I don't remember what we had.
1945.
And when I sailed under the Golden Gate Bridge coming home, I looked up at the bridge and I said, "Thank you, thank you," and I'm going to Jasper, Alabama.
Right there for when they discharged you. Were you in San Francisco for the discharge?
No, I was discharged in Camp Shelby. And my wife was outside the gate waiting on me, and I said, "Goodbye, Army. I'm going to Jasper, Alabama."
Now, Camp Shelby was where?
It's down in Mississippi.
Mississippi.
Hattiesburg, Mississippi.
Okay, Hattiesburg, Mississippi. And I know you have one daughter.
Yes.
What's her name again? I've met her.
Ginger. Ginger Decent. She lives in Birmingham. And that's my story.
Yeah,